How to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. I have noticed in my podcast comments from other people that they're very uncomfortable making presentations. Some people have even commented that they're uncomfortable in networking meetings because they don't know how to be concise in their elevator pitch, meaning that if they're in a networking situation, how to tell people what they're doing for business. Perhaps, though, that you're getting a promotion and you have to start making presentations. Perhaps you're a new college grad and you're going for an interview. All of these uncomfortable situations are a significant part of our life. I decided, since I have been a public speaker for 30 years in my own business, owning a French-themed inn, selling French wine in New York for 23 years, I wanted to share some tips with you folks. And really part of that is how to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. The first one is, remember, fear, which is what we're feeling. We are feeling fear of rejection. We are feeling fear of criticism. One thing I do when I work with people is I never criticize. You're only going to get positive remarks from me. I'm going to see immediately what your strengths are. We all have inner strengths when we do talk about our business or ourselves. That's the first thing I focus on. But remember, when you are speaking in a professional manner, people are in absolute awe of you. So remember that. Get confidence from just that first tip. Also, what I have also noticed with people when they have to make presentations is the constant use of what I call filler words. I actually call them enemy words. They are the words and, so. We have fallen into a bad practice of using these filler words. What happens when we use these filler words is people lose concentration listening to your speech. They actually start to believe that you don't know how to convey your message in a truthful manner because you're constantly using those filler words, I call them enemy words, in front of every sentence. What I'm going to do twice a month when I speak on the subject of being comfortable with being uncomfortable in public speaking, I'm going to include a video in my podcast details. Every podcast, the 2 podcasts twice a month, will also have a free class. It's my signature course in how to get rid of those filler words. This is all about getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. This not only applies to speaking, but it also applies to other parts of your life. Anytime you need to step out of your comfort zone, you're going to experience anxiety, you're going to experience fear, and you're just going to stay put in the same old rut. Now, I listen to people like Bryce Pritchett who talks about the quantum leap, and I usually always include some kind of quote from him. Other point I want to make is that some of my videos are not going to be perfect. In conveying my message to my listening audience, the point is I want to make my point. I'm not going to edit my videos because I want you to see that it's okay to make a blunder. It's okay to make a mistake. I guarantee you are still going to listen to that 3-minute video that's going to help you in your situation become comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's what today's podcast is about, is I want you to learn how to be comfortable in being uncomfortable. I'm not going to talk about Kundalini Yoga, which I always get into. I'm not going to even talk about wine in this particular podcast. I want you to go into the podcast details and search out that first video where you're going to see I make a blooper, and I want you to understand that it's okay. As Bryce Pritchett says, and many other world leaders, you got to start somewhere. So go ahead and start with being comfortable with being uncomfortable. I'm Valerie Hale. I create this podcast once a week, Wealth Yoga Wine, to help people with their mindset. Remember, thoughts become things, so choose the good ones. Merci, au revoir.